Are we recording? Usually, see, the thing with Google Hangouts is like, it's always like starts an awkward time. I don't know. I want a perfect start. I want a perfect beginning. But, sometimes you just can't have that. So, anyway, today I wanted to talk about in this relationship course. In fact, I don't even know what I'm calling it yet. This is how early in the process this video is. I wrote down all these notes for the relationship course, and I just realized I don't even know what I'm calling it. So you probably know what it's called when I don't during this time of the recording of the video. Isn't that crazy? You know more than I do right now. You know the title of this. You don't know what I'm about to say, though. So anyway, look, I'm a little crazy. You're going to have to deal with it. I'm assuming that you probably already knew I was a little bit crazy before you bought this program. So hopefully we got that clear. And if you're disappointed and you thought you were going to get a normal ginger guy, then I don't know what to say to you, man or woman. I don't know. You're going to have to take my personality and deal with it in order to have an epic relationship. You could have bought from someone else, I didn't make the decision for you. I thought I was real up front. All right, enough of my craziness. But anyway, I wanted to make this first episode about self-love. You know that saying is like, how can you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? And I highly recommend this for someone who is seeking out a relationship. Did I drool myself? No, this is protein powder. So anyway, I highly recommend it for someone who's seeking out a relationship, but assuming that you're already in a relationship, it's something that you can do to improve, to up-level that relationship you're in. Now, you're probably here, you're probably listening to this course. Maybe your relationship was average and it wasn't at the level that you wanted it to be. Or maybe you have a relationship and it's like going down the tubes and you feel like throwing it away, but maybe you got this program as a last resort. Either way, the goal here is for you to be able to take 100% responsibility and create an amazing relationship, a thriving relationship where you feel passion 98% of the time. And then you can work into 100% of the time. I'm horrible with percentages, but the goal is so you're happy majority of the time instead of being miserable. Now, a little bit about myself. I'm in a relationship with my girlfriend Leslie right now. It's been going on for 4 strong years. We're almost about we're close. We're halfway to the 5th year, and this didn't happen by luck. I didn't build an amazing relationship by luck. I have an alcoholic mother. I was born in a dysfunctional home, and every relationship I brought my baggage into. I had to really work on myself to create an awesome relationship. Early on in my relationships, it was filled with jealousy. It was filled with me not being the man that I could be. So I was getting walked all over. She was overstepping her boundaries. I was allowing her to overstep her boundaries. I was in a toxic relationship, very insecure. I didn't love myself. To put it that way, I was insecure because I didn't love myself. And the thing is, when you can put your passion first, when you could put your happiness, see, in a way, we want to make the partner that we're with happy, but we don't want the world to revolve around our partner. Once it gets to the point where the world revolves around that person and our happiness is attached to that person, we lost. The relationship is done already. It's already going to fail. So maybe you've seen this in your past where the world revolved around that other person. Maybe you've seen this in your past where you put that person above you, or you may have put yourself above that other person. You see, when a relationship isn't with two equals, then like my mentor Christopher would say, it's an entanglement. So think of that. If you think you're above the person that you're dating, or she or he thinks they're above you, there's an entanglement. There's someone that's getting the short end of the stick. Another thing that I want to bring up, just to introduce you to the concept, I hope you have a pen and paper, because I have a lot flowing through me. So get a pen and paper, write down some notes. You have the replay link, but it's good to write notes to help you learn. Also, a way to help you learn quicker about a healthy relationship is even maybe telling it to somebody else, posting a Facebook status about it. and teaching somebody else, because one, you make the world a better place by helping spreading the good word, and two, it's a fact that if you teach somebody something that you learned, then you learn it quicker and then you absorb it more. So in a relationship, the basic foundation is you have to enter as two equals. And another thing is, we're taught by society that we're taught to be in codependent relationships, where we say, you complete me, she completes me, he completes me. And that's where it goes into the self-love of this topic, because if you're entering a relationship where that person completes you and you need that person, then the relationship is already doomed. And if you're in a relationship right now, which I'm guessing most of you are, if that's the ideology you enter that relationship with, then it's not a surprise that things are a little bit shaky. Things aren't the way that you would like them to be. So going on with I'm going to wrap back to my personal story. So I was building toxic relationships, and I would have kept doing that if I repeated that pattern. If I repeated the pattern that I learned by my parents, because what I gained through relationships is jealousy and pain. That's what I thought about relationships in my mind, because my mom was an alcoholic, my dad was an enabler, and I held that within me. And it was a beautiful learning experience. But if I never consciously paid attention to it, if I never consciously evolved as a human being, if I never consciously changed my way of thinking of relationships, I would probably have a divorce by now. I would probably be in a toxic relationship now. I may have even abused a woman. I may even have gone to jail for abusing a woman, because that's what I saw in my home. That's what I absorbed. And that's where a previous relationship was getting to. A lot of verbal abuse, some physical abuse, but God forbid if it got worse. The thing is, I wasn't in control of my emotions. And when you're not in control of your emotions in your relationship, people just gotta be riding motorcycles when I'm trying to do a video. Katie, this is a professional video here, guys. Katie, calm down. It's just a motorcycle. So, hold on. Don't you hate when you're trying to do an awesome video and people are riding their motorcycles? The nerve of them. And this is a live video. So, I carried all these toxic things, and really it got to a point where I was single for a while. I was single for a good 3 or 4 years, and I was still dating. I was still having sex But it's like I was scared of commitment. And the reason why I was scared is because I saw negativity in relationships. There's a lot of fears that I had. One fear I had was if I'm in a relationship, it would be an entanglement and I would be held down. And I wouldn't be able to succeed in my business, when in actuality, a healthy relationship helps you excel in your business. Also, I was thinking I would destroy it. I thought I would hurt the next woman I decide to get with, because I knew what I was capable of. I knew that I was bringing toxic relationships in, and it really took a lot of me trusting myself after learning the right things to do and shifting my mindset. I was still stuck into thinking that I may hurt somebody. But I was able to shift that. And a lot of it came from forgiving my mother. She's an alcoholic, so there's a lot of pain in my past there. So forgiving my mother has done so much for me. And this does loop back to self-love, because soon you'll realize that your mother and your father are a part of you. It's a reflection of you. Everything you see in your mom and dad is a part of you. So if you can love those flaws within yourself, then you've mastered self-love. So I forgave my mother. And I love my mother, because I went through so many years in the past of resenting her and hating her, because there was so much pain there. But I opened myself up and I love my mom. Not only that, I forgave my ex-girlfriend, because not only I have done wrong to her, she's done wrong to me. I forgave her, and I genuinely apologized to her for what I've done. And I remember we talked, and I was trying to have a relationship. I was trying to have a relationship before I did this, but not until I did this did I get peace. So I talked to my ex-girlfriend at that time, and we got closure. And we forgave each other, and we sent love to each other, and we went on our own separate ways. And not even a week later, my relationship started building with Leslie. We started dating. And for whatever reason, I was saying I could not gain any momentum on a serious relationship until I got that closure with my mother and my ex-girlfriend. That's how powerful it is. So in some instances, you may not have the ability to get contact with your ex-girlfriend. You may not have contact to get or ex-boyfriend. You may not be able to get contact with your mother that you might have unresolved issues with. But the point of the matter is to do everything it takes to get that contact. But not only that, if you can't, be able to send love their way, be able to forgive them, and get all that the anger and the hatred out of you. Because we're all connected. And if you hate someone else, especially in your family, then you're showing hate for yourself. See how that wraps around self-love? So, even after being with Leslie, I didn't understand the full concept of self-love. And something that has served us, that took us from a healthy, good relationship to an amazing relationship, is self-love. Because now we know the root causes of the fights and the drama. The root causes of the drama triangle, which I think I may have gone over in some videos, but I'll probably do a whole new video explaining it. Um, but that's the cause. When you lash out at someone else, a lot of times there's a place at all times, there's a place inside you that needs to be loved. So what I do personally for self-love, and it's something that you would want to put in your daily routine as an exercise. What I do is I'll speak into the mirror as much as possible, at least in the morning and at night. And what I'll do is I'll speak into the mirror and appreciate my wins, point out all the physical attributes that I love about myself. Look deep into my own eyes, like an intimate connection with myself. Like, this is powerful. And sometimes I say it in my mind. But I look into my eyes and I tell myself how much I love myself and everything I appreciate about my body. Another good exercise is to rub up on yourself. And you were probably told by your parents, like, hey, don't touch yourself. Just, I'm not even talking about masturbation here, okay? But rub up on yourself. How many times do you appreciate your body and who you are? I rub myself every day, man. Shit. Rub yourself. Sounds crazy. A little bit. But it works. It helps you come from a place of power where you can show yourself love. Like even in your private sexual area, and I'm not even talking about masturbation. I mean, you can masturbate if you want, but if you just rub yourself and just love every aspect of your body. Because how many times in your mind are you criticizing yourself when you see yourself in the mirror, when you take your shirt off? The thing is, you can't get to, even if you're trying to get rock solid abs, you can't get rock solid abs when in your mind you're too busy being disappointed in your beer gut. You gotta love your body first. Because if you don't love your body, and I know we're going into fitness here, but it actually comes full circle into relationships and fitness. If you don't love your body, then there's no way you can ever get to the body that you want because you're too focused on not loving yourself and being where you don't want to be. So subconsciously, you will sabotage yourself. So even if you're a guy with a beer gut, maybe you're a woman that you feel like you have some pounds to shred. Love yourself. Love your body the way it is. Love all the good things, the way it functions. This even goes into financial abundance. Cherish every penny you pick off of the ground. Cherish every dollar that you have. You can never become wealthy if you're focused on the lack of money that you have or that you don't have. Same thing goes with fitness. Same thing goes with self-love. Same thing goes with relationships. Maybe you want your relationship to be at a place that it's not quite right now. Well, instead of looking at the lack in the relationship, whether it's a lack of communication, focus on the little bit of communication that you have and appreciate that. And when you appreciate, even if it's a little seed, it's a little thing, it expands and expands and expands. What you focus on expands and expands even more if you focus on it as if you already have it. So maybe I'm using money as an example, but you use it for everything. Like, maybe millions of dollars, I'm going to make millions of dollars this year. That might be unbelievable. And that's why when people set those intentions, they don't get it because their mind is still saying, no, that's bullshit. That doesn't work. But what if you appreciated that $1 that you had or that $100 bill that you have in your wallet, that can expand. And that's believable. And that's what you can truly be thankful for. Another thing that I do to keep my vibration high, to keep my self-love high, is every single hour I check in with myself. I have an alarm on my phone. And there's apps that you can look in. There's apps on iPhone and Android that you can look for that has an hourly reminder. But I think it's a lot more simple to do alarms because every program that I use was kind of, I don't know, weird. Every hour, my alarm goes off. And I check in with my body. Checking in, closing my eyes. Breathing in and out. What's going on in my chest? What's going on in my stomach? If you feel tension in your stomach, that represents fear. Got shoulders and neck, that represents anger. Chest, that's pain. So I check in with myself, seeing if there's any sensations in there before they even come up in my mind. And that's a crazy thing. You know, you can check and find sensations in your body before you even emotionally feel it in your mind, before you even notice it in your mind. So maybe I got some tension in my neck, but in my mind I don't feel angry. But then I can wonder, like, what do I feel angry about? And then I can figure it out. Like, oh, well, you know, I don't like the way that, you know, my girlfriend Leslie said this to me today. And it really made me upset. And before that emotion gets out of control, before it can even, you know, before I can even process it in my mind or have it blow up in my mind as a fight or an argument, I just caught it right there. Just because of this hourly alarm on my phone. I found it right there. I found the fight, the argument, before it even came. So that's the first part about when your alarm goes off. Second part, when my alarm goes off, I look all around me. I appreciate what I have. I appreciate the wonderful relationship I'm in. I'm appreciating the time that I get to spend with my girlfriend. I'm appreciating the home that I live in. You know, I live in a beautiful home. And, you know, I could easily focus on like, well, you know, I really strive to live in San Diego right now. That's where I want to be. But I'll never be able to live in San Diego if I don't appreciate what I've already built. And I have so much to appreciate about the home I live in now. It's such a beautiful home and it's so spacious. For a couple and a dog, it's fine. Now, if I'm going to pop out some triplets, I got to do some moving. But that's the thing. It's like I strive to reach that next level all the time. And I will live in San Diego. And I will live right by the beach. But I'm not going to get there beating myself up like, oh, I'm not happy with what I created right now. I'm not. The thing is, there's some flaws, you know. There's some things that I can work on around this house. You know, there's still some sanding I get to do on the ceiling. There's still some cleaning up in the bathroom with the painting. There's little things that I could complain about. And what most people do complain about. Because a lot of times, people complain about the bad things. I could complain about a neighbor that is, you know, maybe less than pleasant. But when it all comes down to it, there's so many amazing things about this home that outnumber any negative thing every single day. Especially if you want appreciation for your home and the roof over your head, sleep on a floor for a week. But there's so much I appreciate, and in your relationship. So when it comes down to relationships, a lot of times what draws a relationship down is having expectations of how you want that person to show up. And automatically we always go right to the flaws of that person. We go straight to the flaws in that relationship. You know, I don't like her because she leaves her shoes around the house. I don't like her because, you know, leaves dirty dishes. I don't like her because you know, my girlfriend or my boyfriend always nags and doesn't show up in the relationship as I want him to. But guarantee, if you wrote down a list of all the positive things in your relationship and you went back and found out, hey, why did I fall in love with this person in the first place? What was it like in the honeymoon phase? What are some things I love about this person? The number of things that you find far outnumber the things that you complain about. And when you focus on the good things, it's so big. You shine a light into that darkness. And that appreciation gets so big, it far outweighs any of the negative things. And it's like there's no reason to fight anymore because there's so much to appreciate about that relationship. And that's why every day, part of my core 4 or core 5, however you want to say it, that's why there's always a I love you text or I appreciate you for this. And I dig, you know, I find something new to appreciate about my girlfriend or a moment that we had. Because appreciation gets bigger and it shines a light over that darkness. Instead of me complaining instead of me nitpicking about the things I don't like. And the funny thing is, when you act in appreciation and you don't nag about the stuff, the problem solves itself. Because you appreciate everything around you, you appreciate yourself, you love yourself, and your relationship, your partner is a reflection of what you see in you. So when you love yourself, then you love your partner. And all the things that you complained about are no longer issues. So for an example, maybe let's say you think your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, you know, let's do something basic, a basic thing to fight over. Okay, so leaves the kitchen dirty, leaves dishes in the kitchen. If oh gosh, I got an itchy eye. If you were to let go, take 100% responsibility in that relationship, and it's like, okay, well, the dishes are dirty. You know, this isn't a male or female role. I want to clean the dishes. You know what? I want to clean this part of the house. I want to clean that part of the house. Your partner is going to follow you and help you out instead of it being a blame game of pointing fingers. I want to use an example for today. We keep this house relatively clean. But we noted we had some clutter in some of the corners, like grocery bags, things of that nature. And I was just very passionate about cleaning. It's like, we got to clean this house because, and here's the thing. I was like, we got to clean this fucking house because it's messing with my mind. When the house isn't clean, there's clutter in my mind. And I'm passionate about this. And I'm saying this to Leslie. And the first thing, she kind of, in a relationship, she's like, first she's like, oh shit, are you blaming me? Like, are you saying that I don't clean? And I'm like, no, I'm gonna clean this motherfucker. I'm gonna clean this house because you know what? I'm taking responsibility. I haven't cleaned this house the way I want it to be clean. I'm taking responsibility. Now, I could have easily thrown the responsibility to her, like, well, maybe you should do this more. Maybe you should do that more. Katie, calm down. I got to close more windows. Can't do professional videos with you around. I might have to put a disclaimer on these videos that Katie is included. Her barking is included in these videos. And I'm sorry if you were watching this and you didn't realize that. But she's part of the family. But I could have blamed her. I could have said, hey, you should have cleaned this. You should have done that. Well, I'm like, no, I'm taking responsibility. I'll clean this motherfucking house. And she does her part. So I'm not saying she doesn't. She does her part. I do my part. But I'm like, look, I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to clean this motherfucking house. And instead of turning into a drama type blame game, it became a team effort. Because I declared that I'm taking responsibility and she follows suit. Like, I'm taking responsibility too. And we're both going to stand tall together and make this a beautiful house again. So I'm recording this video on the weekend, and we decide to dedicate this weekend to cleaning out the clutter, throwing old clothes away, because it gets to a certain extent where you have all this clutter around and it causes chaos. But I digress. So instead of falling into the blame game, take 100% responsibility in your relationship. When you take 100% responsibility, the problem ceases to exist. And please, Katie, look, relax. I know there's dogs out there. I know it's crazy. I know you want to tear up another dog, but I know you're a hunter by nature. But calm down. Katie's my dog, if you don't know. So let's see. I'm going to go over my notes. I wasn't really going by notes, and I was kind of ranting and going over. So I'm going to see what I touched on and what I didn't. And remember, touch on yourself. That's a whole course. Make sure you touch yourself. Okay, so. All right, now I want to go over, I'd already talked about relationships, a reflection of you. A powerful relationship is, and I've gone over the codependence, but it's you standing in your power. It's two people as a whole. So instead of you complete me, it's like, no, we're two complete people coming together. And you gotta come from a place. See, when you're two whole people coming together, then it's like you're just two. What am I trying to say? Let me backtrack. So you're two whole people coming together, and you're not settling, because we live in a world of abundance, and you don't have to settle or sacrifice in order to have that relationship. You don't have to sacrifice your dignity. You don't have to sacrifice your self-worth to have an amazing relationship. And the way I want to close this off this first lesson of mine is if you want to stand powerful in a relationship with somebody, and if you don't want to lose somebody, if you don't want to kill the attraction, then you had to have it's crucial for you to, Katie, you're tripping over my cord. Dogs, they're tough to deal with. It's crucial for you to have the mindset of, if this person leaves me, I'm still going to be happy. And here's an example. I love Leslie. I love her. And I love being with her. But I know if anything ever happened between us, that I would still stand tall confidently. My world would not crumble. I'd feel sadness. Of course I'd feel sad. I'd feel upset. Maybe some triggers would come up for me. But I would still feel like a badass without that relationship. My world wouldn't crumble down. I wouldn't feel suicidal. I wouldn't feel like she's the only person in the world. I never come from a place where my world revolves around her. Because ironically enough, maybe women claim they want that sometimes. Maybe codependent women say it more. But the funny thing is, every time a man allows the world to revolve around that woman, and vice versa, when it's codependent either way, it can be bad. But when that happens, the person leaves. If I didn't have this dream, if I didn't have this passion, and I was like, Leslie, you're my world, and everything revolves around you, we wouldn't be in a relationship right now. She would have dumped my ass the first year. She would have been like, dude, you need to get the fuck, you need to chill out, dude. That's my notification. And that's my hourly appreciation. So I appreciate this video that I'm doing for you guys. I appreciate this beautiful home I live in. I appreciate the wonderful relationship I'm in with Leslie. Appreciate my health, even though I'm coughing. So, yeah. When you can live in a place of power where it's like you feel fine about yourself, whether you have that person in your life or not, and you both can come from that place in the relationship, then you have a solid foundation of a healthy, thriving relationship. So anyway, I'm going to wrap this up and prepare for the second module. And I appreciate you for diving into this program and wanting to change your relationship from amazing to super amazing, or toxic to healthy. Brandon Marshall Havener signing out. See you in part 2. Peace.